name of today's devotional is Lean into Holiness. I have based it on the Holiness Q&R podcast by the Bible Project. I highly recommend you go and check it out if you have the time. It was an absolutely amazing podcast. The main verse that we'll be looking at is 1 Peter 1 verse 16. For it is written, be holy because I am holy. So for us to be holy, we first need to know, what does it mean to be holy? The Hebrew word for holy is kadosh, which means to be unique and set apart. So something or someone is holy because it or they have been set apart for God, who is holy. So then we need to ask, what does it mean for God to be holy? And we can find an answer for that in Isaiah 6 verse 3. Isaiah 6 verse 3. And they were calling to one another, holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory. So what we see here is that God's role as the creator and sustainer of life is what makes him set apart. Everything else has been created by God and is therefore not capable of the same level of creation that he is capable of. So this is the core of what makes God holy. And what does this mean for us? How does this tell us how we are supposed to be holy? So knowing that holiness is God's unique position, us as humans are left with the options of ritual purity and moral purity. The core of ancient Israelite ritual purity was that God is the author of life, and if anyone wants to live in close proximity to him, then they need to disassociate themselves from anything that symbolizes death. So being ritual impure wasn't in and of itself sinful, but it was sinful to try and enter into the temple whilst in that state of ritual impurity. It was all based on symbolism. On the other hand, you have moral purity. And moral purity is anything that relates to justice, to business practices, to treatment of the poor, and to sexual practices. Morally corrupt behavior is anything that introduces relational corruption into God's world, which defiles yourself and others. These are behaviors that destroy relationships, that defile someone else's dignity as a human being made in the image of God, and that brings corruption. Behaviors that bring goodness, life, and beauty are appropriate for us, whereas behaviors that cause death are inappropriate. We know that saying and doing certain things hurts others and even ourselves, and by doing so, we are essentially participating in death, when what we should be participating in is love, beauty, and healthy relationships. So this isn't a checklist, but rather a lifestyle that celebrates God's goodness and creativity. So this brings us back to the definition of holiness as being set apart. It is about living a separate lifestyle from the world around us. This means that there are some things that we should not do in order to be separated from those around us, but likewise, it means that there are some things that we should be doing in order to be separated from those around us. How we use money and sex is a recurring theme within this topic. Humans tend to do pretty destructive things with money and with sex that we should not participate in. However, what we are called to participate in is generosity, caring for the poor, and healthy relationships. Thanks for watching.